This is going to be one of those shows that I prove to you that WMBB is lying on purpose, creating a narrative. I told you it was going to happen. I called it. I called it at the meeting when they were doing it in Panama City, when they made wild and false accusations against Mayor Doc Rohan. And I predicted WMB. I could have written this script. I mean, this was clumsily done. They said, that's all right, Bernie, because we got more coming behind it. I know you do. I know you do. Because it is obviously unacceptable to whoever is pulling your strings for Michelle Miller to be the mayor in Mexico Beach and for Doc Rohan to be the mayor in Panama City. And you are conspiring to interfere with the elections. You are conspiring to commit honest services fraud. Those are federal crimes. You're pretty brazen about it. I know because of how clumsy you are and the fact that everybody knows you're doing it and you don't care. Well, tonight I'm going to prove it. I hope, because I know Facebook doesn't notify people when the show's on. If you're not getting notified, I hope that you'll somehow figure out how to get the notification thing. But this is so important that I worry that more people will see what WMBB says than the truth. And I'm going to show you the truth. You're not going to believe what I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it. Let's get to it then. But before we get to it, I got to. Panama City is a wreck. The commissioners, they're not talking about the most important things. They're not talking about keeping the sewage from getting into the water. And there were 4 leaks today. 4, they call it effluent now because that's how government treats you. Something like 5,000 gallons of sewage spilled in 4 different locations in Panama City. And your commissioners are worried about, well, 2 things. One, a bike path for $8 million, or it's going to be more than that. And 2, conspiring to interfere with the election, with your choice for mayor. I mean, y'all should be recalled for that. You said, no, we're doing that to Mayor Miller. Oh, yeah. I mean, I just don't know how you look yourselves in the face. Bernie, we're working on that. No, you're working on other stuff a lot harder. I guarantee you when you commissioners call your campaign managers and the puppet master, kingmaker, William Harrison, you're not talking about that. You guys are talking about the bike path, the $8 million, the grant money, conspiring to get rid of Rohan. And you know it. You can't say, Bernie, that's not happening. You know it's true. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I'll say this, too. If you're not sure whether or not, if you say, Bernie, Doc Rohan said, I saw him say that he took a document that was wrong, and he took it there, and it was about repurposing millions of dollars. I know you did, because he was clumsy with his language. He meant to say that the ladies' form that she's free to turn into Representative Griffith's office, because only a representative can submit this form they're talking about. And it's not done the way that they described it. I'll show you tonight. It's an online form. You don't give them chicken scratch, and then the funds are diverted. That is so stupid. That's what I mean about, damn, William Harrison and the city attorney. You guys are brilliant lawyers? Yeah, Bernie, we just know the people are that dumb. Well, I don't know about that. I'm on to you. If you're not sure about this, by the end of this show, if you're on the commission and you happen to see this, I know you don't watch this, but if you did, by the end of this show, if you're not certain what you did was wrong and that Doc Rohan, the mayor, didn't do anything wrong, you're either lying or because you won't be ignorant after the show. Okay. All right, we got that set. Oh, here's what the doo-doo alerts are. See, you can get these emails. This was from last week, or earlier this week, actually. This was a couple days ago. 4 of these emails came out today. There were 4 spills in Panama City today. And all the city commission is doing is worrying about getting rid of the people's choice for government, for mayor. That's what they're thinking about. It is unbelievable. I can't even believe what is going on with these local governments. Hey, there's been a lot of stuff I've posted and shown you this week. All right, so there's no way you can catch it all, right? Every Friday night, I send an email that has all the shows. I send an email. It's a newsletter email. I send all the shows. I send every post I make about these issues. It's a Corruption Watch weekly email. It takes 20 seconds to sign up for it. You just put your email in there. It's free. There is a way to get a paid subscription if you want to. If you want to say, Bernie, good job, I'll get a paid subscription. That'd be wonderful, and I'm very grateful. But you don't have to. You're not going to want to miss this stuff. Here's how you do it. You just go to bernie.substack.com. bernie.substack.com. Put in your email, done. And at 9 p.m. tonight, you'll get your weekly email, 1 email a week with everything in it. Never miss anything. That's what it's going to look like right there. That's the one for tonight. And I'm going to send it right after this show. All right. All right. Now, let's go ahead and get to it. So the first thing I want to show you is proof. Well, let's first watch what WMBB had to say, right? This was, and I clipped it. It was like a 2-minute piece, but I don't want you to have to sit through 2 minutes. I showed it all to you yesterday. What I want you to hear is 2 lies that WMBB is knowingly telling, maliciously telling, recklessly telling, and continuing to tell. They know these are lies. The first lie you're going to hear is that Mayor Rohan submitted paperwork, submitted documents to Representative Griffith's office. It's the first thing you're going to hear. The second thing you're going to hear is that he destroyed public records. I'm going to dispel both of those to you, but listen to this first.
The majority of the commissioners called out Mayor Michael Rohan for some paperwork he sent to 2 local state legislators. The paperwork involves the procedures for reappropriating the state funding for that walkway to other local projects. As News 13's Jack Cole tells us, some of the other commissioners say that Rohan went behind their backs and may have illegally destroyed public documents.
Tuesday morning, they accused Rohan of going behind their backs and submitting paperwork that would reassign the funding to the MLK Rec Center project.
All right, so I set that up, right? WMBB did say that, and they haven't corrected it. Right? So let me prove this to you. Today, I got a public record. I got an answer back from Representative Griffith's office. Because if Mayor Rohan submitted these documents, or a document, then to Griffith's office, then wouldn't Representative Griffiths have it? This was the answer I got today. How about that? Conspiracy to interfere with an election. This I got today from his office. I received your voice message requesting a copy of the appropriations project what the hell is it? Appropriations project request. That's the form that Mayor Rohan brought to our office. It was a printout of a form belonging to a lady that she filled out. I'm going to show you the form, okay? But the point is, they don't have it. Unfortunately, our office is unable to fulfill your request because Mayor Rohan took the appropriations project request with him the day he visited our office. So can we dispel the lie that Mayor Rohan submitted any document, any paperwork to Representative Griffith's office? We can. Now, you're going to say, yeah, but he brought the paperwork with 2 constituents to Griff's office and he tried to submit it. Do you know how insane that is? If after this show you still believe that, we need to talk, because this is the form. I want you to look at this close. You right now can go to the Florida House of Representatives website. You can search the Appropriations Project Request Form, and you can fill it out right there online. And then you can download it to yourself like this. You see, that's the same form. Look, that form, same exact form. But this is the one that the constituent filled out and downloaded to herself. Just like you can do tonight. It's 11 pages. She put in the mayor's name. She put in the city manager's name. See that? You can do this. On this one, I made it so you can see up top. You can see the URL. This is a form anybody can fill out, anybody can print, and anybody can submit to Griffith's office. But the way you submit this form, this is what I'm saying, is you don't print it out with incorrect data and then scribble all over it and submit it to the state representative's office. Now, even if Mayor Rohan had done that, remember, he didn't write on it at all. He printed out a copy. How did he get the copy? The constituent emailed him the digital copy that she filled out. He printed the digital copy that she filled out. He never wrote on it. He went with her because he couldn't believe that this document exists, because he had been told it does not exist. But he knew that the one the lady filled out had information that wasn't correct on the 11 pages. That's what he meant when he said the form was wrong. It was filled out wrong. Okay. He went with her because he wanted to know about this form. He wanted to help her be able to fill out the form. Turns out there was a deadline of the next day before it could even be accepted. But you don't turn it in like that. You have to email the form. It's a digital submission. You don't hand over chicken scratch papers to the state representative. And even if you do, that does not change where the money's going to go. With that, if you submit this form properly, then it's up to Representative Griffiths. He's the only one. Only representatives can submit this form for the legislature to consider action. So the idea that Doc Rohan tried to submit this form, or did submit this form, is absurd. And for some people, it's an outright lie, like the city attorney himself. Do you want to see what the city attorney wrote in an email? I'll show you. All right, let's see here. Oh, boy, I hope I have this email. You may have to give me a minute to get the email, because I'm going to need to show it to you. Because in the email that was addressed at the meeting on Tuesday, the city attorney lies in the email. I'm going to show it to you. First, let's do this. Let's thank some sponsors, and I'll pull this email up because you're going to want to see it.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down.
Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777.
All right, I'm trying to find the email for you because it's super duper important. There it is. There it is. Wow. All right, I'm going to give me just an awkward second here so that I can give it a name and then bring it up for us. I thought I already did this. I really thought I already did this. I might have it here. Let me see. Give me a moment. This will be worth it. There it is. All right. Yes. All right. I'll be able to pull this up for you now. Here it is. So this is the email that the city attorney, Nevin Zimmerman submitted to all of the members of the council. Right here. Goodness, sorry. This is crazy as hell. Look at this. So this went out the day before the meeting. All right. This went out on Monday to to Mayor Rohan and all the commissioners. And here's what it says. This is from the city attorney, Zimmerman. Mayor Rohan went to Representative Griffith's office and met constituents there. This was what he says, to submit an appropriations request form in order to reappropriate the funds from the Beach Drive sidewalk project to the MLK Rec Center. After discussion involving Mayor Rohan and others, Representative Griffith's office made numerous markings on the form, but did not accept the form for filing and handed it back to Rohan. That is the dumbest thing you could imagine. Remember, it is an online form you fill out. It is not a written form that you scribble on and try to submit it. That's insane. But it gets worse. Paragraph 2 now. Some commissioners heard about the encounter. I wonder how. I'll tell you how. Representative Griffiths called each one of them because they are conspiring to interfere with your election. They heard about the encounter. That's not honest, city attorney. And asked me if the city had it in its public records. All right, so some of the commissioners says, wait a minute, is this in our public records? Oh, and let me make sure you understand this. So remember, this form, this one right here, and this is the one that was actually filled out by the lady and emailed to Doc Rohan's personal email, which is all fine. Do you think if I catch Doc Rohan hiding public records, I'm not going to tell you? I will light his ass up if I catch him doing that, or any of you. She's allowed to send this form to his personal email. He took the form from his personal email and emailed it to his mayor email, which was exactly the right thing to do, showing you're not trying to conceal anything, as sort of a note, right? As sort of a, well, we're going to talk about this at the next meeting. And that's why they did this to him, by the way. The mayor had every intention of saying, look what I've got. I'm sorry, it's this one. Look what I've got. I thought you said there wasn't a form like this. Let's talk about this. But they didn't want him to do that, so they beat him to the punch and claimed that he was hiding it. Golly. All right, so let's get back to the email. The attorney Zimmerman says, last Tuesday, Jan Smith and I met with Mayor Rohan and asked him to provide the form. What form? The one that belongs to the lady. This one right here, the one that's written out, right? The lady's form. They want the form he printed out on his computer that belongs to her. We wanted the document. And he said he'd look for it. Sure, I'll see if I can find the scribbled paper, the printout of hers. Sure. Now listen to how accusatory this gets. From the city attorney in a search of computer records. See how they make it sound? The city did find the email attached as Exhibit C. What is this, a criminal case here? Are we on trial? Exhibit C? And it appears to have an attachment, APR form, appropriations project request, that Mayor Rohan, look what he says. The city attorney himself lied to the commissioners that Mayor Rohan delivered to Representative Griffith's office. You see that? With the big underline? From Nevin Zimmerman of Burke and Blue. That's who the city uses as their attorney. Nevin Zimmerman lied in his email. Now, each of you commissioners, now you know the truth because I got from Griff's office today that they never got, nothing was ever submitted. There's nothing in Griffith's office. It would have to be emailed correctly. And that was never tried. Of course it was never tried. Now you can do it. You're free to do it. She's free to do it. So now I've shown you that WMBB knowingly lied and the city attorney knowingly lied. What are we going to do about it? I'll tell you what, if you lie, if the government says you lied to them, straight to jail. A bar complaint, in my opinion, should be filed against Nevin Zimmerman. And I'll tell you what else. They were going to censure the mayor before they knew anything. They just were going to censure him. They still are trying to get an investigation. They're going to hire this fakakta law. You know how they do it. You've seen this before. The city is going to hire some fakakta law firm out of Tallahassee to give them, they're the client, to give them the opinion they want. And I hope they do it because it's demonstrably false. They know it's not true. And it should be a bar complaint. But Bernie, it's a public record. Oh, let's look at that. So I've shown you it was never submitted, right? That it belongs to a lady and that you only submit it electronically. You don't go submit chicken scratch that the mayor never wrote on, but Griff's office did, and the lady typed it up. All right, so let's take a look at what a public record is. Now I do have this one ready, and if you've ever wondered what a public record is, you're going to know. And if you're on the city council and you're not sure, you think this is a public record, you're about to realize that that's not true. It's a hot time in Florida, and my friend Ryan can make sure your air conditioning is running at peak efficiency. He could even install a new one, built to a higher standard, American standard. Find out more at pcairrepair.com.
Have you received a speeding ticket for which you want no points placed onto your driving record? I'm El Saulene, 850-215-0628. Let me help you.
All right, now let me show you what a public record is. Now this is from the Government in the Sunshine Manual. All right, there's a Sunshine Manual, 2023 edition. So it's this year's edition. And it's very extensive. I've been studying this stuff for quite a while. Public records are a big deal to me, all right? That's what I do. And so if a government tries to hide them, I'm always telling you about it. But some things are not public records. Like, for example, if you were a mayor and somebody else printed out a form that you could get. It's like going to the DMV, printing out a form, handing it to the mayor and asking the mayor to go with you to help for the DMV to talk with you, and they write on it. And then you say, oh, that's a public record. No, it's not. I'll explain when it becomes a public record, which the city attorney knows or should know. And it's malpractice if he doesn't and acts on it, which he did. Okay. While the broad definition of the term public record ensures the public's right of access, it includes preliminary and non-final records. What does that mean? That means, let's say I'm on a city commission. You say, Bernie, haha, thank God you're not. Okay. And let's say I'm jotting down notes. All right, because I'm paying attention to what everybody's saying. I'm up there, the meeting's going on, and I'm jotting down notes. Just for me. I'm not sharing this note with anyone else up here. And I'm also not talking about it to anybody else up here. These are my personal notes from my own understanding. Is that a public record? No. When does it become a public record? If I talk about it, if I share it with anybody, or if it becomes part of the process. I want to submit this record as we consider this process, as we move this ordinance forward. But if it's just something that I haven't shown anybody else, it's just something that I've done, I can show the public, I'm thinking about doing this, but they can't hear me. Right? Just for me. That's not a public record. Okay? Of course not. All right, let's get back to the public record. Okay. So it is a preliminary, it includes preliminary non-final records. Okay, so a preliminary or non-final record. Let's say that we draft something up here. Okay, I think we should do this. We're talking to each other now in the meeting. Okay, John says we should do this. Anybody else? Yeah, we should do. Okay, so we're writing on this. Now it's still a note. Draft. Non-final. But this is a public record because we're all talking. This is a product of what we are doing, right? That's a public record. And that's what this is saying. Because some people who are in office try to say, well, you don't get that public record because that wasn't the final copy. That was just us up here drafting stuff together. No, that's a public record, actually. All right? So it goes on, and it talks about case law. The Shevin decision recognizes that not every record made or received in the course of official business is prepared, and this is the key here, to perpetuate, communicate, or formalize knowledge among the group. Accordingly, preliminary drafts or notes prepared for personal use of the writer may constitute mere precursors of public records if they are not intended to be the final evidence of the knowledge recorded. What does that mean? That means that the ladies' printout that Doc Rohan never wrote on and never communicated with any of them about because he just found out. He's allowed to talk to Griffiths. He's not on the board about it. It's not something that they are probably going to be voting on, but as long and until he talks with them about it or you about it in a meeting, or until he emails it to himself. Aha, Bernie, he did that. Yes, he did. The email's a public record, and Doc Rohan, the mayor, made it so because he wasn't trying to conceal anything, and it was the right thing to do. If that's something that you're going to want to talk about with the board later on, and then it will become a public record down the road, email it to yourself. Put it in there in the government email stack, which he did. It was proper and it was correct. These people are lying to you. All right, let's look at the second paragraph. Thus, public employees notes to themselves, and this wasn't even a note to himself. Remember, he didn't write on it at all, but he did want to keep it because he didn't know it existed. And it was provided from a constituent. And it was a 11-page document that he was going to discuss with the council because they had told him this thing didn't exist. But they beat him to the punch. and accused him of a crime. All right. So notes to themselves, which are designed for their own personal use in remembering certain things, do not fall within the definition of public record. That is case law, and there it's cited. The First District Court of Appeals in 1988 held that a preliminary written note, which this wasn't even his. Oh my God. Where are we at here? Preliminary written notes prepared by agency attorneys. In other words, okay, what that's saying is, and the attorney's own person. So that's saying if the city attorney, if the corrupt Nevin Zimmerman, if the incompetent or corrupt Nevin Zimmerman is sitting up there and he's making notes, he wants to look this up, I need to look this case law. He's making notes to himself while he's up there. Is that a public record? No. If he says, hey, Commissioner Halligus, read that right there, and now it's a public record. If that note is attached to any process that leads to some formal action, that's a public record. But his personal notes are not. This document we're talking about is not even his personal notes. It belongs to somebody else. So if you still think that's a public record, and if you still think he submitted it, well, I don't think you think that. You might say it because you hate him, or you've got some other reason, but now you know it's not true. So what are you going to do now? Now that you know WMBB is outright lying to you. The form was never submitted. It wasn't his form. He's allowed to do everything he did. In fact, it's a good thing that what he did. Help a lady figure out this form that his people were saying didn't even exist. And if it was to be submitted, it would have to be email submitted. Griff's office didn't reject his attempt to submit it. You can't submit it that way. I think everybody knows this now, right? I think at this point I'm beating a dead horse. Meanwhile, 4 of these went out today. There was a bunch of pollution, a bunch of sewage water. They call it effluent. A bunch of that went out today in Panama City. 4 of these notices went out today. How about that? Those are the emails you get, the doo-doo alerts. 4 of them. Is WMBB that cares so much about the community? Remember, Panhandle Strong. You remember all that Panhandle Strong nonsense? And do you remember that Panhandle Strong is really just Mayor Mark Sheldon's nonprofit that they funnel money through?
In Panama City Beach, I'm Tom Lewis, News 13, Panhandle Strong.
He's at Gulf Coast Jam there. These people hate you. These people are lying to you. They want to, again, interfere with an election. And I have proven that. And instead of worrying about keeping the environment clean, instead of doing that, they are conspiring to interfere with the election. I'm making sure I didn't forget to. I think I've shown it to all to you. All right. Now you know. I hope you understand it, and I hope that you share it with others as this racket continues. You talk about election interference. Hey, FBI, Homeland even. I thought interfering with an election was an insurrection. At the very least, I thought disrupting a government proceeding was also a crime. The city attorney of Panama City interfered with that government proceeding. They spent 20 or 30 minutes going over a setup. This is the worst part. Look at that bottom line there. This is from Nevin Zimmerman of Burke and Blue, who the city hires out. The city attorney told all the commissioners in a formal document that Mayor Rohan delivered the lady's form to Griffith's office. But here's what Griffiths told me today. His office said, no, they don't have that form. Because Mayor Rohan took that scribbled on printout with him. Of course he did. You don't submit it like that. So FBI, that's interfering with government. Yeah, but he's part of the government. He knowingly lied, calling it a public record and saying he submitted it. I understand WMBB. Journalists are just dumb. They get it wrong. But the city attorney, I think it's a bar violation. I think Nevin Zimmerlin there should be a complaint filed against him because he knew or he should have known. And that's the standard. Lawyers are real fancy. They're officers of the court for a reason. They are extremely careful with language, or you lose a lawsuit. You lose a case. You think I'm joking? Trying to go past the LSAT, the logic assessment test or whatever it is to get into law school. Go try that. And you'll see how precise they have to be with their language. Because he passed that, and because he and William Harrison and the rest of them are real smart guys, much smarter than I am, and I mean it, how could they be so wrong? Because they're dishonest. And what they're doing is criminal. Am I right or wrong? All right, I'll see you soon.